Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The by-election in Northwest St. Andrew is in progress, with the PNP's Keisha Hale and the JLP's Dr. Nigel Clark seeking to represent the constituency. We now join our reporter Vashon Brown with the latest. Vashon? And we'll try and make contact with Vashon a little later. Meanwhile, persons are also voting in the Norman Gardens division in East Kingston as they try to replace Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, who resigned as councillor before becoming a member of parliament for the St. Andrew Southwestern division. We now join our reporter Anthony Lugg. Anthony? And we're also having difficulties contacting Anthony, and we'll try to get through to Anthony and Vashon later in the newscast. And I'm told that Vashon Brown is on standby. He's covering activities in the St. Andrew division. Vashon?
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm actually as you mentioned, I'm in St. Andrew Northwest, specifically the Marvelly Primary and Junior High School. Of course, the battle is with the JLP's Dr. Nigel Clark and the PNP's Keisha Hale. Now, calm is returning to this area, but earlier on there was a bit of tension or disturbance in this area. We were told that the police were in pursuit of a wanted man when shots were fired in this area. Of course, we'll continue to monitor that for you and give you more in primetime news at 7 o'clock. The security forces were also out in their numbers in this area, pretty much trying to prevent and quell tension between supporters of both political parties. I have with me now the campaign manager for Keisha Hale. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Buchanan.
Yes.
How's the day been for the People's National Party?
Promising. Started slow. This station, which is one of our strongest stations, we lost 2 hours. I think we'll get it back. I think we have been successful in getting back those 2 hours. But, you know, a month ago, Jamaica would not have predicted this. Coming from 60-40 under Derek Smith, the Derek Smith dispensation. Now we are in a dead heat situation. Any number can play, and we are doing well. We noticed that the JLP numbers are not as impressive as in former years, and in Avondale and in Chancery Hall. But as you see the passion here in Marvelly, it tells a story. It is a story of the 29 years. It is a story of the bad roads. It is a story of lack of proper representation. And most of all, it is a story about a woman who have a good story.
But the JLP has ruled this constituency, as you pointed out, for 29 years. So why do you think there is an uphill battle there? Why do you think there's a possibility that Keisha Hale might take this home?
You see the passion. You see what is happening. You see 29 years, and as I said, Keisha is a good story. Anybody who put up them house to save a school, that is a story worth telling. And because she is a woman who has spent her best years in the classroom and turned around and failed in school, it is resonating with people. So that is why the margins are closer now, and we are in almost a dead heat situation. It is organization on the day, and as you see, we are out in our numbers. Marvelly has not seen this since the time of Carlisle Dunkley.
I really have to go.
PMP.
All right. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Buchanan. That, of course, was Paul Buchanan. He's the campaign manager for Keisha Hale. Of course, we will speak to the JLP representatives later on. Earlier on, though, I spoke to the JLP's Dr. Horace Chang, who pointed out that they are confident of victory. They are confident that Dr. Nigel Clark will take it home for the Jamaica Labour Party. I also spoke with the opposition leader, Dr. Peter Phillips, who pointed to the possibility of a low voter turnout. So that's it from me here in St. Andrew Northwestern. We'll continue, of course, to monitor the developments in this area. Of course, 30,216 people are eligible to vote in this constituency. It's back to you.
Thank you very much. Our reporter Vashon Brown covering by-election activities in Northwest St. Andrew. And we'll hop over to our reporter Anthony Lugg, who is in the Norman Gardens division, where the by-election is also in progress. Anthony?
Thanks, Andrea. Now I'm here at the polling station just outside the Harborview Clinic here in the Norman Gardens Division. Now, things here at this polling station is pretty similar to what we saw earlier at the other polling stations we visited. Just a handful of supporters. We caught up with PNP candidate Jacqueline Lewis earlier, and she's pretty confident she'll win the seat. Confident here today. See you wrap up a lot of supporters and so forth. Talk to me about the feedback you're getting from your supporters so far.
Very good. No surprises. The support is upbeat and everybody's okay, good spirited, and everything is okay.
Some of the candidates I spoke with, some of the persons I spoke with, rather, they say, you're the best candidate, you're from the area, you're the best, born and raised. How you feel about that though, and tell me about that?
Well, I'm alright with that because I know intimately their concerns, so I'm able to address that on the ground, grassroots level, so nobody has to come and say anything to me that I don't already know, because I'm in it and I know what is going on in the community, which I am a part of for quite a long time. JP as well, principal of the school for 20 years. I've been there, so I know what is going on. So I'm intimately involved with them.
Now, I also spoke with the JLP candidate a short while ago. That's Headley Wilson. He's also confident that he'll win this seat. Now, security personnel are also here in their numbers and also at the other polling stations. We spoke with Superintendent Victor Hamilton, who's the head of the Kingston Eastern Division. So you have a team out here to the election. Talk to me about how things have been progressing and so forth.
Well, progressing very, very smoothly. The police officers were out early. We were at the polling stations before 5 a.m., but for the most part, 5 a.m., we have with us the PSSAs, as you know, we call them the one-day police, and we have 3 soldiers at every polling location. I've been going around this morning, and things are relatively smooth, because, you know, it's a low-key elections historically, but we have had no serious issues thus far.
So things here at the Harborview polling station is pretty quiet. We will keep you up to date and give you more details in subsequent newscasts. So until then, it's back to you, Andrea.
Thank you very much, our reporter Anthony Lugg covering by-election activities in the Norman Gardens Division. In other news, motorists are expected to face delays in the Barbican area of St. Andrew as the National Works Agency NWA says it will be extending road repair activities this week. NWA Communications Manager Stephen Shaw says starting Tuesday, March 6, 3 sections of the roadway will be targeted for the increased activities. Between Birdsucker Lane and Jacks Hill Road, East Kings House Road between the entrance to the Fontana Pharmacy and the traffic lights, and in the center of Barbican Square. 480 meters of asphaltic concrete paving will be done over the next 7 days. To facilitate the roadwork, access to a section of East Kings House Road will be restricted for vehicles traveling along Barbican Road from the direction of Jacks Hill Road. Those motorists are advised to use Salisbury Avenue, then onto Paddington Terrace to exit onto Kings House Road. Flag persons will also be deployed to assist in directing the flow of traffic. The Clarendon police are investigating the circumstances which led to the death of a motorist whose body was found in a car along the Dr. Bell Drive this morning. He has been identified as Kenroy Smith of a Clarendon address. It's understood that about 8 o'clock, residents heard a loud crash along the Dr. Bell Drive and went to investigate. The victim was seen sitting in the car with his seatbelt on. Investigators say he did not have any injuries in relation to the crash. The cops have not ruled out foul play, but are exploring several theories, including that he may have been killed before the crash or may have fallen ill while driving. The Islamic Council of Jamaica, ICJ, says it's working with various sectors of society to help fight crime. The group agrees that a breakdown in family life is a contributing factor to crime and violence. The Islamic Council says all sectors of society must come together to find solutions. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica this morning, the head of education at the ICJ said consultation was key.
What we find is that there is a wholesale approach that we have to look at all the facets in order to rein this monster in. So yes, upbringing is one. So we look at prevention as one key, but also when it does happen, how do you control it and reintegrate individuals into society to be productive individuals? Right. So generally, this consultative approach, as we say, is looking at all stakeholders and say, here what, as Muslims, this is what we have to contribute. And we have basically set out an outline in terms of the various bodies that we will work with. We have made contact with several of these entities, so social entities, and as you said, government agencies, and just really to see how we can assist. And
several persons of interest as well as a number of students were taken into police custody on Friday as the Kingston Eastern Police Division launched a new operation in Harborview. Sub-officer in charge of operations, Inspector Mark Harris, says it was due to an increase in several crimes, especially in an area known as the Crusher community.
We have arrested 12 men, including 5 young men from the area, which is on our list as person of interest. Also, several schoolboys from the Donald Quarry High School were found smoking ganja at a location during our operation.
The students were taken to the Harborview police station where they were processed and their parents called in. The operation follows a spike in crime, including 3 murders, 4 break-ins and a robbery over the last 2 weeks. Inspector Harris says the police are actively pursuing suspects. More police personnel will also be deployed to the area.
We deployed bicycle patrols, motorcycle, mobile patrols and foot patrols in this area. The law-abiding citizens, we have reassured them, they are working with us, and I appeal to them to come forward to give us every information necessary so that we can have Harborview back to where it was a couple months ago. We're also appealing to the citizens, please don't harbor any criminal or strange men from the west or any other part of Jamaica. Just call us and we will take care of it.
A call is being made for the revival of uniformed groups such as cadets and Boy Scouts across Jamaica. Custos of St. Andrew, Dr. Patricia Dunwell, said there has been a decline in those groups which are usually responsible for instilling discipline and a sense of patriotism. She was speaking at the launch of 2030 Youth Jamaica, held recently at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Dr. Dunwell highlighted that parents tend to focus and invest more in girls, leaving the young males at a disadvantage and more vulnerable to crime and violence. The 2030 Youth Jamaica program aims to encourage young persons to engage in the promotion of the ideals of Vision 2030 Jamaica. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.